So let us have a comparison between Irving-Fisher theory and cash balance approach. So first one, cash balance approach mainly based on the value of money and how much people desire to hold the currency in the form of cash. But Irving Fisher quantity theory of money explains mainly the supply of money, how influence on price of the product. So that was the major difference we can understand, where Irving Fisher theory and cash balance approach. It is also called as Cambridge version. But some of the similarities also there, because Irving Fisher theory and cash balance approach have some similarity, that is the objective of the theories are same. They want to tell about the effects of money supply. So if money supply increase, what are the uh, effects on society and people? It was a major objective of cash, both the theories of demand and supply of money. But here, both approaches to the quantity theory of money lead to the same destination. So, but here, some differences, some comparison we can understand. Some of the equation. So, take an example of Irving Fisher equations. MV is equal to PT. Here, M and V. M indicates money value, money, and V indicates velocity. And M dash V dash also indicates banking money supply, or that is equal to the price. But some of the cash balance approach theory also explain, especially Robertson theory says uh, M means money supply. So they also telling the some similarity of theories. Fisher's theories as well as Robertson theory is almost similar. So that we can see. And according to Robertson, Fisher's equations and Cambridge equations are not fundamentally different from each other, but they are almost majority of the concepts are equal. Robertson as well as Irving Fisher theory. Maybe Keynes and Alfred Marshall and A.C. Pigou have some difference, but Robertson almost 90% of the theory was similar. So the equations also similar. So that is a comparison between cash balance approach as well as Irving Fisher theories. Here, P indicates in the Irving Fisher theory that is price, but in the Cambridge version also it says P in the Cambridge equation is identical. But they also main objective of the cash balance approach is how much people wants to hold the cash from their real income. Based on that, the price will affect. Money supply is also one factor which can influence on price, but the majority of influence made by the people desire to hold cash. So that was the difference you can observe. Then Fisher's equation emphasized on importance of velocity circulation of money, but Cambridge equation stressed that part of the community income which is held from the cash balance. But velocity is not given more important in the Cambridge, but Fisher's given more importance to the velocity. And the Cambridge equation present money as a stock of concept, while the Fisher's equation presents it's a flow of concept. It's a flow concept. According to Fisher's, it's a flow concept, but Cambridge equation is a money as a stock of concept. Stock and flow. That's a different opinion. We can see this theories. And Fisher's equation explains the value of money over a period of time, while Cambridge equation explains the value at particular point of time. So that was the difference between our comparison between Fisher's equation as well as cash balance approach. Then which theory is the superior? So when we understood both the theories of demand and supply of money, Irving Fisher theory and Cambridge version, but which theory is superior compared to both the theories? Fisher's equation is a mechanical, but Cambridge version is a realistic. Majority of the points of Cambridge version is come to a reality. even though some errors are there in the Cambridge version also, but compared to Fisher's version, it is better. So that is a superiority of the theories. Fisher's version is incomplete because consider quantity of money circulation to be determinant value of money or the price level. But Cambridge version consider both supply as well as demand for money in the real determination of value of money. But Fisher's only concentrate on demand. But here both they'll consider demand and supply of money. So that is the superiority of cash balance approach. Then Cambridge version is wider and more comprehensive than Fisher's version. From the other point of view, as well as it takes into account of income level, as well as change in the importance of determinants of the price level. So cash balance approach observe many other points influencing to price. But Fisher's equation only concentrate the money supply. Based on money supply only, the price of the product will affect. But Cambridge version also consider many other points which are influence to price. That is the superiority of the theory. I hope you understood that superiority. Then another point, according to Fisher's equation, change in the price level is caused by the change in the quantity of money circulation. But Cambridge version, price level may be changed even without change of quantity of money. There are other important is without increase in the quantity of money, the price may also change. That was the observation of Cambridge version. That's why it is a superior compared to the Fisher's equation. So Cambridge version is a realistic than Fisher's equation because the subjective factors as the main determinants of demand for money, but the Fisher's equation only account purely objective of factors while discussing the demand for money. Here, Fisher's equation compared to the Cambridge equation is less factors and less determinants as considered. So that was and the last comparison or superiority, we can say that Cambridge version is a quantity theory has provided the foundation of the building up, but the Keynesian liquidity preference theory of interest, it should be remembered that the importance consists on the modern theory of income, output and employment. It explains not only for the determinants of income and employment and economy, but also focus attention on the limitation of the monetary authority to control business cycle through the use of monetary weapons. So that we can observe the comparison of Fisher's theory and Cambridge theory. Cambridge version plays a vital role and it become a superior theory, especially in demand and supply theories. So that was the conclude of demand and supply theory. So according to our syllabus, let's move on to next point. We understood that these two theories of demand and supply, one is Irving Fisher theory, another one is cash balance approach. So here, let's understand, just we will review the points, what are the points we discussed in the previous classes, what is money and the functions of money, barter system, and the role of money, the significance of money. So that we have already discussed, and evils of money. So many other social evils of money. So we have discussed, and when come to second chapter, demand and supply of money, why people demand for money, and who supplies the money for, based on the demand. So all these points we have discussed. So especially demand for money, according to James Keynes, there is a three reason. One is transaction motive, then precautionary motive, and speculative motive that we have discussed. And let's have a look onto the syllabus. After the points, just I'll share the syllabus, right? The screen, you can see the screen. I'm sharing your syllabus. So you can see this screen that syllabus is visible in your screen. So first, the chapter or first module, nature and functions of money, what we already discussed. Money, meaning of money and form of money, functions of money, Gresham's law, the role of money in the modern economy. That points we already discussed, and we have started second chapter, that demand and supply of money, factor determining supply and demand for money. And we have started the theories of quantity theories, Fisher's equation and Cambridge version. So that we have discussed Fisher's equation and Cambridge version. Let's understand now factor determining the supply and demand for money. What factors determine demand and supply of money? Let's understand that point. So we already some points we have discussed that point, especially um, demand and supply, determinants of supply and demand. So let's understand one by one that first let's understand supply factors. So supply of money, in what are the factors will determine the supply of money? The first one, the availability of resources. So availability of first one, population, as well as resource and population is the base of how much supply needed for the money supply. So that is based on the resources available and the population of the country. Both are important for the decision of money supply in the country. That's a determination. So the determinants of money supply mainly based on the population of the country as well as the resource of the country. So next point. So how just we'll have some small discussion about that. Population as well as resources. How this connected to the supply of money. First one, if population is more in number, just imagine India population when India become India become independent in 1940. The Indian population is only 30 crore. Only 30 crore. During that time, the utilization of resource is also be less because the population of 30 crore is enough whatever the resource is available. But when population increase, the money supply is needed because the circulation of money and transaction of money is high. When population increase day by day, the government have started the supply. The supply of money is also increased. When number of transaction increase, the population increase, so that it motivates the supply of money. Because just imagine now we have more than 130 crore. So it means in 50, 60, 70 years, almost 70 years, the India population increase 5 times bigger. So the population of India is 100 crore, more than 100 crore increased. So when we have after independent, so the need of money, especially that the supply of money is more required more. That is why that determination of factor which money supply is determined based on the population. I told the resources. Resource means whichever resource available in the country. For example, If you take example of availability of agriculture and food production, mining and availability of soil and resource of in the earth, surface of the earth, or it may be mining. So many other resources available, even though it may human resource also. Human is also a resource. So depends on the resource availability and the usage of the resource. Sometimes if resources are not available, we will bring from the foreign countries. That is, we need money. That is a determination of supply of money. Then the innovations. Next, if we take a next point for supply of money, the innovation made by the country. For example, what products the people are, what are the products available in the market, or what are the new innovation happened in the market. So when you take an example of 50, 60 years, the products are very less because companies are less, business activities are less. That's because of population is less. But when all things increase, when innovation, even though population is high, when the population is high, the innovations are more important for the increase the supply, because when products are exist in the market, are produced in the society and supplied to the public, then only the demand and the requirement of money is become more. You can just imagine only the food items are supplied in the market. What will happen? No other products are available in the market. Only food item, basic needs, the people can enjoy to have a food. But only if that product is produced, the supply of money is not needed that much what we expect today. It is enough in a small number when only basic foods is required. But people desire and unlimited wants of people had increased a lot of goods and services. Because of lots of goods and services, what had happened? The supply of money increase. The people want to buy more goods. The people want to come, increase their comfort zone. That's why they want more money. That's why the money supply increased because of innovation and the supply of goods and services in the market. That has increased. So that you can see the market. So that is a major reason of money supply increase. Then government policies. The government policy means whatever the GST or whatever the financial plans or monetary policy or fiscal policy has made by the government, that will also influence on money supply, minutes of money supply. Because when demonetization has made, the government has to print a lot of currency to supply. Because when 130 crore of population need money, only Reserve Bank of India has authority to print and circulation of money. So they have to supply for entire country. So that is not easy. So what they have made, the demonetization. The exchange of currency is different, but demonetization is different. Demonetization means the removing the value of the currency and introducing new currency. That is not easy factor, because you can take old notes and introduce new notes. That is not a big thing. But when come to demonetization, the money was demolished and they have to issue new currencies. That was a major issue. So that was done by the government. That's what the government policy will also influence on money supply or determination of money supply. Major role played by the government for determination of money supply. And next point, the people taste and preference is also influence of money supply. For example, the people desire to have more goods, desire to want spend more money, or desire to buy more goods. This type of attitude of the human being can also increase. Okay, some phone call has come. That's why it is deducted. Okay, now let's reconnect. Okay, here let's understand the point where the money supply is determined by the base of people desire to have a desire to buy more goods and attitude of spending more. So that is also deciding factor because if more people wants to spend more money, then money supply must be increased more. So that was the thing we have to check. And the business attitude or entrepreneurship as well as investment. The investment of the government or investment of the private entrepreneurship. So that is also important for determination of money supply because how much investment is required for the country to increase the economic well-being or increase the profit they want to invest. For that investment, they need money and some not only investment, it is also connected with the entrepreneurship. Many people come forward for investment and as well as establishment of business because even though people have money, but if they desire to have establishing a company or a business, it's not everybody interested. So majority of people wants to have a job in the company, but they don't want to establish a company. That mindset is more important. If more people wants to establish a company, then the money supply need is more because we can take loan from the foreign countries also. Because when more people had desire to invest and desire to establish a new business, then they need more money supply. Then they need more money. So that is a which factor which affects on money supply. So how much people wants to hold cash as well as how much people want to invest. That is also important part of the money supply. That was the point you can observe. So next one, the social behavior, what we say, the social causes. Social cause are society, the society and economical background, economic background and social background and cultural background. All these factors is also going to influence the money supply. The society means majority of people in the society they want to spend or they want to save money or they want their development, their societal development item because transport, communication, hospital, all the basic need they want. Then that desire or that requirement can increase more supply of money because every society expected to have some development, have some investment in the well-being of a society. So then money supply need is more. Social cause, it is also called the facility by the government or infrastructure facility by the government for the society, the people. That can also determination of more in money supply. The next point, the political, sometimes political factors also which influence the money supply because political means almost I told government political system are almost similar. Then we come to another point, economical status or economic background of the people. So how many people are rich in the country or how many people wants to become rich or how much poverty is available in the country, or how many poor people are there in the country. So that is also determination of money supply. So how much money supply is there in the country, and how much people are has a poor. So that is also determination factors. So sometimes some data says only 15%, 15% of population are holding 80% of resource or 80% of wealth. Remaining 80% of 75% of population are having only 20% of resource. So that was the major discrimination, because that is why India still has a poor people. So that is also a which factor affects on money supply demand. So we can observe also geographical. I told in the resource also geographical factor which also influence on money supply or determination of money supply, because geography means the weather condition, that the soil condition, the people attitude to grow the agriculture, or attitude of establishing a company. All these factors, geographical factors, may also affect the increase of money supply and decrease of money supply. Because of the geographical area, majority of people will come and stay, or they will invest money and they will start business because of geographical area. So that is also an influencing factor of money supply. I hope you understood that point. So let's come to the demand factors, demand for money. The points which we discussed, almost supply of money. What are the determination factors of supply of money? Let's understand what are the factor influence or demand for money. So the demand for money, it is measure the how many people in the country, also how much their income level, the desire, the attitude, and culture and customs they follow, and their knowledge. All these factors which affects on the supply of or demand for money. Because some people they don't want to make loan or didn't want to take loan, but some people have desire to have a loan and to do something. So major discrimination. You can see that some people wants to invest more or to take loan. Some people do not want to take loan. So this discrimination can make investment of money as well as demand for money become less. So that is a demand for. Generally, I told why people demand for money. According to Keynes, there is a three reason generally. The three motivation to have cash transaction motive, precautionary motive, and speculative motive. That points we already discussed. Apart from that, what other factors which affects on demand of money? Why people want to have? So here some other factor means the people wants to have cash, or people wants to have more money because they expected that they will get a comfort zone. Comfort zone is available because of the money, financial aspects. And any situation can be easily faced. That is an objective of people demand for money. So they can have precautionary measures, transaction measures, and investment measures. So these are all the basic things to understand the demand and supply of money. So I hope you understood this point, demand and supply of money. So how demand and supply of money will affect. So based on that, we also discuss some theories how demand and supply affects our society. So just I'll share the screen, and you can see once again that syllabus what we discussed. Here we discussed factor determining supply and demand for money. We also discussed theories of Fisher's equation and Cambridge version. So next we have to discuss Keynes' income and expenditure theory. So that we will discuss in the next class. Keynes uh, income and expenditure theory we will discuss in the next class. I'll just take attendance. Here Arti Devi, Ezra Fatima, Bhavana, Divya, Shauri Hodla, Manish Kumar, Nishan, Vijay Sarthi, and Vishal KV. Only 9 students are present. If anybody has a doubt, you may ask me now. Otherwise, I'll end the class. If anybody has a doubt regarding this equations and theories, just have to take textbook and start reading. While reading, you will get any doubts. You might ask me any questions. So I'll end the meeting.